Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are checking out an absolute legend, the Koenig Arius, and that's with the ultimate goal of seeing if it's worth adding to your collection or your daily carry rotation. Now, this knife was sent in to me by Wyvern Kodiak, two great guys that have a YouTube channel and an Instagram. They have new knives coming out that are going to blow your socks off. Do yourself a favor and get on board with what these guys have going on because I've seen the stuff they're working on and it's absolutely insane. So I'll link their YouTube and Instagram down in the description. Now, this was designed and OEM'd by Koenig, and this knife needs very little introduction. This has been a top grail for tons of knife collectors for a long time. It's actually only been in the last recent couple of years that this was like actually available to buy for the regular person, like where you could go to Blade HQ and actually pick one up. And I'll link Blade HQ down below as well. Because for the longest time they just weren't making enough of these, right? You couldn't keep them in stock. They would drop and sell out. Luckily, Koenig has gotten to the size now where they can actually, put the Arius in stores, for people to have a better opportunity to find them and then buy them. So, but jumping right into it, as always, looking at the scales, we have this really beautiful milling pattern. I'm not really sure what to call it. I'm sure they have a name for it, but it is stupendous. It is relatively deep milling. We've got two hardware screws. We do have this nice um, lanyard hole. It adds to the aesthetic, so I don't mind it nearly as much. Up here on the pivot, we kind of have this like grumpy owl, and this looks like a grumpy owl beak. So from here up, we have a grumpy owl looking to the right. Very cool. On the back, we have this, I'll say medium carry, titanium milled pocket clip. We have an external lock bar relief cut. It does have milling on the inside, but it's a striped milling. It doesn't match the milling on the outside of the scale, which I actually think is kind of cool. We also have a blade window in there, so you can see the belt satin. Sorry, I couldn't figure out what I was trying to say for a minute. We do not have an angry owl back here, and then we have our lock bar insert screw. Overall, duh, really nice chamfering all around. Nice contouring in the scales, but overall, an absolute delight. This is a beautiful knife. Now let's talk about the ergonomics. So this is one of the most comfortable knives I've ever handled. We're nice and thin up here where we need our fingers to, have control. But then we are nice and fat back here where the handle actually like swells into the palm. So when you hold the knife like this, you've got full control, right? This knife isn't going to go anywhere. This is the level of ergonomics that will actually allow you to grip this if you're like working in the rain or something or in wet conditions. You wouldn't have to worry about this knife slipping out of your hands because of the incredible grip that you have on it. I wear large size gloves. I have an easy 4-finger grip, and then I can hammer fist it quite easily as well. You also have a choke up spot right here. They've angled this point, this tip here, in such a way that even though it looks like I'm pushing against it, I'm not. I can squeeze down as hard as I want to, and I'm not cutting or hurting myself or anything at all. You can kind of see right there how the tip is actually angled away from my finger. So they did a stupendous job there. But just super good ergonomics. This knife is like mind bogglingly comfortable to hold on to. Let's talk a little bit about this blade. So, um, we are rocking M390 blade steel. At least I'm almost positive we are. Um, and with M390, that's a pretty common premium steel. It's common for a reason. It's got low toughness, but it's got really good edge retention and amazing corrosion resistance, right? And then, like we've seen other companies do, they've offset the lack of toughness with robust jade with robust blade geometry. It doesn't matter if something is not tough. If it's thick enough, it's just going to be tough by default. We are rocking. Ooh, that's a hollow. Yeah, we're rocking a nice hollow grind. We have satin on the flats. We also have, um, mm, I want to say like a bright stone wash um, on the swedge. And, overall, this blade shape is going to be super utilitarian, right? I mean, you've got a robust tip, you've got a nice big belly, right? You have plenty of cutting length. And because we're thinner up here, you can maneuver and tilt the blade any direction you need to for maximum control. And then you can even choke up real tight if you need to get like some precision cuts in. Um, but, one thing I love about this knife is that it's big and it's not big and gimmicky. It's big and it's pure utility, right? This is meant to be a big user. And they've accomplished that. Um, their heat treats are on point. So you'll be able to maximize the attributes of this M390. You're going to be able to maximize that. And that just means it's going to have the best edge retention you can get from M390. It's going to have the best corrosion resistance you can get out of M390. And then, toughness is nothing to write home about. But like I said, with this blade geometry, it's going to offset that. Um, there is a tremendous amount of thought and design that went into this knife. And I can absolutely understand why this has been a grail for so many people because it is an absolute treat um, to carry. Now, let's talk a little bit about sharpening life. It looks like they give us plenty. So you're going to be able to get quite a few sharpenings out of your Arius. Let's see where it engages. Okay, that's. Oh, wait, do we have internal? Oh, yeah, we do. So you can see in here how we've got that. Might be kind of hard for you guys to see. Okay, yeah, you can see that cut out. So we actually have internal blade stops, which means if you wanted to cut in your own choil, you could. Um, because cutting in choil wouldn't have any impact on, um, where the knife meets with the um, blade stop because it's done internally. So yeah, you get plenty of life out of this. As far as the action goes, let's check out the acoustics first. Yeah, that thing rockets out with some real authority. Nice, controlled, snappy hydraulic shut. Reverse flick. Oh, just terrific. Despite this being a larger knife, this is absolutely a fidget monster. Oh, sorry for the shake. I got excited. Um, yeah, I mean, this knife is just spectacular. It's going to be highly recommended. I just can't get over how good this knife is. Um, Jesus Christmas, the detent's so good. Um, yeah, I mean it's just wild. Let's do some specs. Overall, we're looking at 8.3 inches. We have 3.6 inches of blade. We have a blade to handle ratio of 0.77, which is terrific. And then an overall weight of 3.55 ounces. We are running on cage bearings, and let's do some size comparisons up against the milled aluminum Civivi Brazen, up against the real steel Sylph, and we're coming in quite a bit bigger than those two. And then finally, one of my favorite budget knives of the year so far, the Migaron Gotov, and that is like 70% the size of the Arius in length. It would probably take like 6 of those Gotovs to make up the total mass. What's the price on this guy? So you can get the base model of the Koenig Arius for right around $710, right? And that would be on Blade HQ. Like I said, I will have them linked below. But yeah, this is easily worth $710. So just for the naysayers, if you're looking for budget, right here, $30, D2 and aluminum. It'll do whatever you need it to for the most part. It'll have fine performance. If you're wanting to get the most utility per dollar, then this is going to be kind of what you're looking for. And it's a great value at $30. All right. Now for everybody else, for the people that are like not only in the hobby, but have been in this hobby for a while. People that have been in the hobby for a while and worked their way up to kind of this price range. Yeah, if you haven't tried an Arius, you deserve to try an Arius. Like, you owe it to yourself. Borrow one from a friend, go to a blade show, make it a priority, because this knife, I was not expecting much. And even whenever I first got it out of the box, I was a little like meh. But then I was carrying it. I was, putting it to some light use, fidgeting with it. And then something just clicked. And I was like, I clearly have not been paying attention to this knife since it's been in my pocket, because this thing is stupendous. And I think the reason that happened is it's not one crazy thing about this knife that makes it stand out. It's all of the little things in combination, right? This is similar to the Rosie. This is one of those knives that you really just have to experience, because you can write everything down on paper and it'll look like a $300 knife, with titanium M390, finish, milled scales, whatever. But this knife as a whole is much, much greater than the sum of its parts. Action, fit, finish, functionality, the ergonomics. It creates a holistic EDC experience that you just don't get with knives that are $200. This is an absolutely standout piece. I think anybody that is already in this territory could buy this knife and find that they really enjoy it. Now, if you're not in this territory, if you're looking at like $300 or $400, you've got options. I mean, like, I've got this guy right here. This is the Cass brand Paladin. Terrific knife. I love it. This is like a $350-ish knife, and it's wonderful. I love this. So if you're wanting to step up into something fancy, you don't like the D2 aluminum, right? There's still plenty of great options out there. You don't have to jump from $30 to $700, right? You've got in between options. But anybody that is has made that climb to $500, right, and they're looking for that next step, where do I go after $500? There's a lot of options, but I think value for dollar. I think the closest you can get to a custom without it being a custom, super precision machining, crazy attention to detail. Like, look at this. All right, you see how they give you, this is a landing space, right? It's all scalloped out. That way you don't have a really tight, like down here, it's tighter and you have less space for your finger. So whenever you push this flipper, you slide down this landing strip and it just makes for the most comfortable flipper engage that you can get. You know, it's things like that, that little attention to detail, that really makes this knife stand out amongst its peers. Not just in general, but up against its actual peers. This knife stands out as something really special. So I would say, you know, if I had $710 and I was looking for a knife, I could say confidently that the Koenig Arius would be it would be in that conversation, right? It's just a terrific knife. So for me, this would be a daily carry. And I think that's because the knife is really asking to be daily carried. Like some knives, like if you get a Sabenza in hand, you know, the knife is just saying, carry me. And I get that same feeling from this Arius. It's just saying, hey, like, carry me, put me to work, you know? What about for you, though? Would this be a collection piece? Would this be a daily carry for you? Or does the Arius just miss the mark for you entirely? I'm really interested to read your thoughts down below. Please don't forget to comment, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe, and until next time, guys, peace.